Hello everybody, my name is Brett, your loyal host. Welcome to another episode of TopoRanger. We're back on the river today. I hope y'all are not getting tired of these river episodes. But when the weather's like this and the river's down low, 3.2 today, I feel like I gotta strike while the iron's hot, right? Just came off the Lancaster County River Trail. We are at the top of Dolomite Island. We have done a three-part episode here several years ago. I have been across this before. In that episode we went down there. In this episode we are going to try to walk across the world famous Haldeman Riffles, because when the river gets down to this level it basically emerges from the murky depths and it's like a bridge. I'm not 100% sure we can make it. There does look like there's a big gap in the middle we're going to have to negotiate. But at the end of the Haldeman Bridge, we find Pole Island. What we want to do is we want to see if we can see where the volcanic dike, which is what the Haldeman Riffles is. It's a volcanic intrusive diabase dike. We want to see where that meets the Dolomite, and then we want to explore the rest of the island. Last time I went in here, but this current is pretty strong right here, so I think I'm going to go up a little bit, go that way, because I think it might be a little bit more shallow there. And if I get carried downstream a little bit, it's okay. I'll have some wiggle room. And then once we get there, we're over the top. I will pick it up there when we get a better idea exactly what the situation is just on the other side of this little islet. Off we go. Water's cold. Current's pretty strong here. Only about 1.5 feet of water right here. There you can see, that's it. That's the dike. That's the rock that forms the Haldeman Riffles right there. So if you ever want to come across to the island, come that way. Last time I think I started here, and it does get a little bit deeper right there. This way, pretty shallow, right along this gravel bank. The only problem with this stuff is that when it gets silty or wet, it gets pretty slick. That stuff is extremely slick. There's a flow channel here, huh? And this is what makes the Haldeman Riffles. When the water's higher, all you see is a big riffle here, but this is what's underneath that water. That's Pole Island, goes across the top, keeps going the whole way over to the York side. There are a lot of little small potholes up here. There's also what looks like some more flow channels. Look how dark this is. It's like dark army green, dark coal black, not coal black, but dark gray, black gray. If we can't make it across, if it seems too sketchy, that's okay, because we've got a whole bunch more to explore here on Dolomite Island. But so far it looks pretty good. Whoa, yeah, no. I should really get a stick, is what I should do. We could also try just walking on the top of it, because if it's like this, it might even be easier. As far as I remember from that Dolomite Island episode, the river is very shallow in this area. That doesn't mean you can't hit dips and holes and where there can be currents and stuff, but it is a Susquehanna, mile wide and a foot deep, right? So from right here to the flat level just beyond there, I'd say the river probably loses a foot here, you know, going over these riffles. All right, let's see what we got here. And this looks like dolomite. See that pocket there? It's almost like a little shallow pothole, and you can see there's a scalloping on it. So that's definitely the dolomite. Coal Island is about 1,000 feet long and about 300 feet wide at the widest. So we should have a good little area to explore once we get there. I like how it divides up into these little chutes and big chutes. Look at that right there, it's flowing over that. Let's keep following this line here. This is an interesting spot because we can see the dolomite and the diabase that makes up the dike almost directly next to each other. So right here would be that contact, which makes sense because it's running right parallel with the top of the riffles. So far it's a cakewalk, knock on wood. Doesn't get any better than this on the Susquehanna. Lancaster side, rapids, and that is a big chunk of the river, comes right through there. So I'm going to try to go across the top of this to avoid getting swept down that way. Look at the color on this diabase though. Has a nice sheen to it. It's that nice graphite. It almost looks like pencil lead, you know, the color. And look how smooth it is right here. You see that? It's shiny and smooth. That's not too bad right there. See, if we get there, we're going to be swept down there because that current's pretty strong. It's not that deep, but it's strong enough to push you down. So let's go back up here, cut across the top. Bottom's pretty flat. It's got cobbles on it. Looks like we have two more big breaks in the dike. So we want to be careful. That one especially looks pretty strong. I'm waist deep and I can't even see the bottom. The water clarity is not very good right here. That's the one we got to watch out for. We'll give it wide berth. Getting a little deeper now. Ooh. A little bit too deep. I'm right on the edge there. I think we can make it though. we're good. Oh, there's one big block right there. Uh-oh. Oh. Now the bottom is starting to get a little more uneven. Now we're gonna hit that third big break. That looks like the last one, and then we're good to go. Surface is definitely a lot more uneven now. And the current is stronger here too, in general. I think there are eel weirs up here too, in between Gut Road and Billmeyer. You should be able to see the surface of the dolomite pretty well right here. You see these crisscrossing joints. You see that right there, and then that right there. There we go. That's quartzite probably. A little vein of it. Over here too. See that? There's one there, there's one there. This is nice. This is just clean, scoured, relatively flat dolomite bedrock. Look at that. That's a big one there. Actually start to see some of the bending. If I recall correctly, there's some wild structural things going on in the bed of the river up here. Getting even better there. You can just follow this vein here. Nice. Got these big dark boulders. It's like 2 feet thick right there. There's another one. They're everywhere. Like the whole thing's running this way. It's easy to walk on too. Whoa! These are looking very nice. Some more there. Look at this one though. Check this monster out. That's like 4 feet thick. You see the bottom? I love how you have these dark cobbles up against the lighter dolomite, and then with these streaks of white going through. It looks like an abstract painting or something. Look at this. It looks like it comes to a point right here and then it disappears. That's definitely the biggest quartzite vein that I've seen in the river, I think. And there's Pole Island. We are almost there. Let's hit the top of it first. Comes right up to the surface here. Gotta watch out for this dolomite though, because it can weather into some pretty sharp stuff that if you fall on it, it's not gonna go well. Yeah, see there, you see right there? See how it's all gnarly? All right, we are at the top of Pole Island. Let's find a nice place to sit down, get a drink, maybe eat a snack. Debris piles on the top of the island. Exposed dolomite bedrock. You see the Haldeman Riffles picking up on the other side there? So that means the contact's going to be down there. Got an old gas cylinder here. I'm not seeing many people out here today though. That's just surprising. That's the riffles. I don't know what it does over there. It might get a little deeper as you get closer to the York County side, but you probably could just go the whole way over without facing too much hassle. Do your own research, as always. Okay, so now we're on the dike here. Back on the diabase. Pretty wide over here, huh? So it's gonna run through the island right here. Keep heading downriver. Now we're back on the Dolomite. Might be a trail right here or a landing. Looks like I can get up into the island there. Why don't we just loop around the whole way to the bottom of the island, come up the other side. What I'm looking for is a place where the island is not overgrown. Maybe there's some rocks. And then when we get up on the other side here, maybe we can follow the dike and we'll find the contact up there. So far though, this island is pretty overgrown. Whoa. There's a lot of boulders that look like they're coming from the dike down here. You see that? And all these, some are rounded, some aren't. You see the contrast between the dark cobbles and then this is the dolomite. That's the bedrock. If I remember correctly, these are the chestnut riffles, which is another set just below the Haldemans, but they're not as pronounced. I don't know if that's a specific something running under the river or if it's just a downslope in the dolomite. And here's what they look like close up. We're almost to the end of the island. What is that? You see that? Is that a bird box or something? What is that? The side of this island's pretty steep, which makes me think there might be some outcrop of the dolomite up here, which is what we're hoping for. There, you see that? What is that? Is that something that was washed up or was that put there? A little beachfront real estate here, not bad. Maybe we'll stumble upon a group of deer. There's Shocks Mill. Cadorus Creek's coming right out there. That's the downriver end behind me right there, Pole Island. Like maybe an old fire ring there. The dolomite can also look very dark, but usually it has a different weathering feel to it than the diabase. Like this is dolomite right here. Look how dark it is. I don't know why that is, to be honest. Something to do with silt and the sun maybe cooking down on it. I don't know. If you took a chunk off though, the bedrock itself would be like a grayish blue. Maybe up here we can get into the middle of the island. Actually, right here. We're a good 10 feet off the river here. Right here, you got a nice flat area on the coast, beachfront property. You could pitch a tent right there. And this is the inner surface of the island. We're still down on the very end of it though. There's that bird box thing. There's a little clearing here. It gets kind of thick here. That's looking upriver. There is kind of a trail here. Maybe it is a trail. Yeah, there is a trail here. Hey, look at this. This looks like a sinkhole here. That's really what we're doing here. We're trying to find examples of island karst, if there is any. I don't even know if it's possible for karst to develop on islands like this in the river because there's so much silt. I'm not seeing any bedrock though up here in the main part of the island there. But we still got a ways to go. Okay. Kind of hit a dead end there. Yeah, there's definitely a trail here. Cuts right across the island. I don't know if it's a game trail or a human trail. Let's see if we can get down and around. There's some, is that pokeberry? Let's see what's down here. So that stack there is just south of the quarry, Bill Meyer White Cliffs. Let's see what we got up here. I should have brought my machete. What's over there? All right. Oh, here we go. Here's a nice clearing. Okay, guys. I'm seeing something over there. So why is this called Pole Island? I don't know. But I'm seeing some stonework ruins right there that I'm thinking that maybe that might answer our question. All right, this is definitely a first for me. Ruins on an island. What is it? It looks old. Ah. Oh, my legs are getting hit by the stinging nettle. Ah. What is that? All right, I've been blabbing so much, I only have 10 minutes left on my SD card. So let's go out and solve the mystery of the ruins on Pole Island. I don't think there was ever a bridge here. I was thinking maybe it had something to do with the logging rafts that used to come down here. But it's big. I mean, it looks like a bridge pier to me. And look at this, it's built right into the dike, because that's it. That's the diabase. That's the volcanic dike rock right there. It does have a curved front, but of course that doesn't necessarily mean it was for a bridge. I mean, it's facing upriver, so whatever it was, they wanted it to have a rounded front so that it didn't get, yeah. It looks like it's in pretty good condition. I don't know what's on top though. It goes up about 15-20 feet. And it's made out of the diabase, I think. But those rocks have been worked. What is this for? Yeah. There's just a big outcrop right there. I wonder if we can get up there. Maybe we can climb up to the top. I'm thinking this might have something to do with the name, Pole Island. Maybe there was a giant flagpole on top of this thing 100 years ago, 150 years ago. And that's why they called it Pole Island. All right, let's see if we can get up here. I can't see anything up top. Hold on, let me put the camera down for a second. I don't want to climb up there when I'm by myself in case I fall down. But I do want to get up there, and I think we can do it right here. And I don't know what's up there. There might be something up there that will serve as a clue so we can figure out what this thing is. Well, my cart is almost full and I'm running out of time here. Not sure what these ruins are. Built like a bridge pier. I don't think there was a bridge here. Maybe it has something to do with the name, Pole Island, P-O-L-E. Got some kayakers and suppers up here. So I'm gonna make my way back across the dike, pick up my boots, and then we're probably gonna hike down Dolomite Island, all right? If I find anything, we'll turn it into another episode. How about that? Hope you all had a good time. I know I surely did. This is Brett for TopoRanger. I'll see everyone in the next episode.